Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. I hope everybody's having a great weekend, no matter where you reside. I'm in Northern Virginia right now, and the weather's pretty freaking awesome today. The sun's been out because it's been feeling like Seattle the past couple of days. So, anyways, today I want to talk about one of my favorite topics. Always, obviously, it falls under the category of money, but I definitely want to talk about financial love building. I got it from one of my favorite, the idea from one of my favorite YouTubers, Dr. Royce Watkins, and he calls it financial love making. And I'm putting my little own spin on it, but I think it's a conversation that most people should have, especially if you have a significant other of any kind on any level, that you've been dating for the past couple of years. The conversations of financial love building should be put into the equation of your day to day, or at least weekly doesn't have to be every day, but at least your weekly conversations that you have amongst one another. Most relationships, especially if you're living with one another, or if you have kids, you're talking about what's going on with the kids. Have certain bills been paid and all that great stuff. But I believe if you include financial love building into that equation, then I think that you can elevate not only your relationship, but the lives of your relationship, but the lives of your children, all at the same time. So now I'm sure you're probably saying, what is financial love building? Financial love building is constantly, not just once, but constantly engaging in different ideas, exchanging different ideas on how to make passive income. And what is passive income? Passive income is my favorite thing of when you're making money when you're sleeping, when you're in the restroom, when you're in the shower, whatever. You're making it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have a chance of making money. It's not earned income, which is, your 40-hour a week job or 60-hour a week job. That's earned income. Passive income is you could be in Switzerland playing on Facebook or Twitter or a video game and you're still making money. That's the beauty of passive income, and there's multiple ways to make passive income. I'll give an example. Say if you own an apartment building, and you're making money from all the rent from all the units that you're making. That's passive income because you're not working. That's essentially money working for you when you're not working for it. But back to the conversation of financial love building. You can exchange different ideas. I know because you usually, especially if you have children, talking about kids' sports, the doctor's appointments, homework, other activities. And, great thing about, obviously, I don't have kids, but I know when you have kids and if you're married and if you own a home, you get great significant tax breaks. But the biggest tax break, no matter who the president is, no matter who runs the Congress, no matter who the governor of your state is, mayor, whatever, of your city, doesn't throw all that nonsense out of the window. The biggest tax break's always been in the United States is if you own a business. No matter how big, no matter how small. If you own a business, that you will always receive the biggest tax breaks. And if you don't believe me, please do the research on your own. You will receive the biggest tax break, especially nowadays. And remember, it takes no time to set up an LLC, which is a limited liability corporation. Excuse me. It takes no time to set up a LLC. It takes less time to set up a business than it does to find a job. And I believe that to be wholehearted because I don't know about you, but I've put out probably thousands of job applications throughout my lifetime. And the easiest thing that I've seen to do is to set up a limited liability corporation, which takes 1 day, 2 days, possibly a week. When it comes to trying to get a job, it usually takes about a couple of weeks, if not a month or two. Because just if you're lucky after sending out all the applications, then if you're lucky enough to get an interview, then after they decide if they want to hire you or not, that's a long, drawn out thing. But when it comes to setting up your own business, it happens within a matter of sometimes hours, depending on the state you live in, or a matter of days. Something to think about. So whether it's a small business that you and your partner, significant other want to buy into, or possibly opening up a franchise. Say if you want to open up a McDonald's or a 7-Eleven, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever have you, and in some instances when you're trying to open up a franchise, they're practically giving the franchises away sometimes because they have so much, the franchise company might have so much inventory. They're like, hey, if you move to this specific area, we'll give you this franchise, no money down. And that's money in your pocket right there. Because they have an asset, they just don't have anybody to run that asset probably because nobody wants to live in this particular area. So it's something to think about. But it's a great thing, and because I always say when it comes to your free time, how are you utilizing your free time? Are you utilizing it doing a bunch of nonsense, or are you utilizing it doing something that's going to make your life much better and much more of an effective and financial way? It, opening up a business can open up so many doors and the best opportunities. And then a great thing, depending on the kind of business you have, it might even allow more time for you to have with your family. So instead of you trying to sit in rush hour traffic to go to a job every day, you might be able to go to your business for a couple hours out of the day, and then you're able to spend more time with your children. Then depending on the kind of business that you open up, say if it's an online business, then you're running that business from home. And for those that have infants, I'm sure that's going to save a lot of money on childcare, because I know childcare is a big business within itself. Hey, you got two little ones, start your own little daycare business at home, And then the crazy thing is, if you get certified, set up your own LLC, you're running your own business out of your home, so you got tax breaks from your kids. If you own your home, your house, if you're married, you get tax breaks from that, and then the biggest tax break you get from that little LLC, from your own little daycare business. Something to think about. Then you get more tax breaks, and every time you buy food, every time you have to do something to the house, that's more of a bigger tax deduction than if you're just itemizing that from just home ownership, but you're itemizing it from home ownership and business ownership. And then you're spending more time with your loved ones instead of spending time at a life-sucking job, because sometimes a job can be like a tick. It could get, it's a lot. The beneficial part is getting business, employee business skills, and obviously getting your paycheck. But a lot of times you spend, in certain instances, you're spending so much time at that job, you don't even remember outside of paying bills why you're even there, to be honest with you. So it's just something to think about. Another great idea, you have kids, do you have college savings plans for them? Are you teaching your children financial literacy? There's plenty of video games out there that makes learning about money very fun. There's so many options, especially with the internet nowadays. It's ridiculous. You teaching your kids how to purchase stocks and bonds. Are they, allowing they call compound interest to grow over a time period. So by the time that the kids turn 18, they're not starting like most kids started at 18 or 19 with zero and no bank account at all, but they actually have their own little bank account and they actually have a couple of $1,000s in there. Something to think about. And then if they do go to college, and hey, half the college is paid for, maybe all the college is paid for. So that way they're not falling under the crazy thing of student loan debt, which is just killing people. And people are 21, 22 years old, and they're crippled financially before they even get a real decent paying job. So it's like you're starting them out backwards instead of starting them out forward. So that's why I said financial love building, having these conversations, engaging in these conversations, and then implementing specific ideas that you might have in order for not only to make you and your spouse or significant other much better financially, but your kids much better financially, all at the same time. Great example. I met this teenager the other day. He's working at Ace Hardware store, and I've seen him a bunch of times, but I saw him with a landscaping crew down the street from my house, cutting grass at a church. And I stopped and said, "Hey, man, hey, how you doing?" He was like, "Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while," et cetera, and so forth. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize you had another job." He said, "No, this is my business." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, this is my business." I said, well, hold on. How old are you? He said he's 17 years old. He's had his own landscaping business for a year. His dad and uncle helped start it up for him. I was like, well, what made you get the idea of doing this? He said one summer, him and a couple of friends of his actually went around. I don't even think teenagers did this anymore in 2018. They were going around the neighborhood cutting people's grass, and they figured, hey, why don't we just continuously do this every summer? And then they, the father actually put the company name under his name, and he set it up an LLC and helped. He put half of the money down for the equipment that he needed, and because him and his buddies, they put the other half of the money down. And he said the crazy thing is, which I liked, his dad said, I'm not giving you this money. This is a loan. You got to pay this back. He said no interest. It's zero interest loan, but you paying this money back, because if you fail, then I'm going to be very upset. So he said, in a sense, that gave him more incentive to make sure that his business thrived. While all his other friends were getting summer jobs at fast food places and restaurants, he had his own business and he was getting his own contracts. And he's like, and then the crazy thing is, he said, yeah, one of the main things is he wanted to have his own franchise, but he said he didn't really want to work outside as much. So I said, well, I was like, it was crazy just having this conversation with him, because in the DMV, people don't really talk to one another unless they know each other, unless they want something from somebody. But that's another story for another day. So he said that he wanted to buy into a janitorial franchise. I said, get the heck out of here. He said, yeah. He's like, this is his last year in high school, and he almost has enough money. He said he might end up getting a job so he can get the rest of the money. He's actually going to try to buy into a janitorial company, and him and his uncle are going to run it. I said, so you're not going to college? He said maybe he'll go to community college part-time just to get a little bit more, get an associate's degree in business management. But he said he had no desire to go to a 4-year university and accrue all this debt for something he doesn't want to do. I said, you know what? I like you, man. I wish I had your intelligence when I was growing up, because I'd probably be a lot further ahead in life financially, and from a business perspective, if I would have had that drive and that mindset. Because most of these other kids in their teenage years are going out doing crazy and stupid things that's not going to benefit them when they get older. But this kid is just on fire. I say Del Fuego, it's like, just get out of his way, because he's got his own business. He's about to buy into another business as soon as he graduates from high school. And the main thing is his family supports him, because another thing is, his family actually, put money into, and they had the means to put into a college savings plan, but in a sense, since he was, he said since he was like 10 or 11 years old, he was helping out, because his parents actually own a gas station, and they actually teaching him the value of $1, but not just the earned value of $1, and but they actually showed him multiple ways of passive income. And he said he loved the fact that his dad could call his own shots and work his own hours whenever he felt like it. So it made life that much easier, because then his dad got to the real estate game and started buying their properties and renting them out. So his dad basically, in a sense, doesn't have to work anymore. He just still owns a gas station because it's a family thing. So the whole family benefits from the gas station, but he's bought enough real estate properties to where he doesn't have to work anymore. So moral of the long story is, the kid gained financial intelligence from his parents, because obviously his parents were having discussions in regards to financial literacy, financial intelligence, how to make money work for them so they don't just work for money, and then having things in their name so they don't have to always just depend on getting a job and having a boss and performance appraisals, etc., and so forth. So that's to me, that's the essence of financial lovemaking, because it's not just supposed to benefit the couple, but it's supposed to benefit the whole family. And essentially, I think that's a great thing, because what do you do with that? You're creating generational wealth. Then this kid and his future kids, and et cetera, and so forth, the cycle will continue. And it's not a vicious cycle, it's a beautiful cycle. They're going to understand the value of $1 and understand the value of ownership. And having a job can become an option and not becoming a must. And the same thing can go for the couple. Having a job can become an option and not a must. And to me, that's true financial freedom, when you don't have to have a job, when you can just say, okay, I want a job because I want to do X, Y, Z, or I want to learn X, Y, Z. I don't want to get a job because I have to, and I have to deal with people's nonsense, et cetera, and so forth, And then if owning a company is not for you, okay, great. Other options out there, have your own little 401k, IRA, stocks and bonds, and then do yourself a favor by just living below your means. Not saying don't have fun. It's nice to have fun every now and then. Live below your means and save, hence the word save, and invest 25 to 30% of your income. Because there's even people out there that make $40,000 to $45,000 and they save and invest 25 to 30% of their income, living below their means, not trying to keep up with the Joneses, and they ended up becoming millionaires in a sense from savings and compound interest by the time they get into their late 50s, early to mid 60s, because they've done this crazy thing that most people do around the rest of the world except the United States. People within the United States, they save and they invest, and hence the word save, because when you got money in the bank, you don't have to worry about what else is going on. You ain't got to worry about trying to keep up with what's hip and all this other nonsense, because remember, at the end of the day, every time you buy something, you're making somebody else rich. You're not making yourself rich. And whether you like it or not, in the U.S., passive income, home ownership, and especially business ownership is key. That's why I say when most people immigrate to the United States, the crazy thing is they got the one mindset of survival first, ownership second. And it goes to the thing that I've heard a lot of times on YouTube. owned or be owned. And if you own homes and you own businesses, then you're making it easy, and you teach your children and your significant other financial literacy. And it's something that's you never stop learning because it's always changing, especially in today's world with today's technology. You're teaching themselves and the basics, and so they can build upon a foundation. And if you have a business, then you make it easier for your kids when they get older to not have to go out there and get a job. They was like, well, hey mom, how about or dad, how about I work for you, and maybe I can bring these new ideas to the family business, or bring different industries to the family business, so we can grow in an effective and efficient manner. Something to think about. So instead of saying, hey baby, why don't we go out to dinner, or hey baby, why don't we go to the club, why don't you say, hey baby, you can't stand your job, I can't stand my job, so why don't we put our heads together, educate ourselves on the principles of starting a business, or the principles of trying to save more and invest more, so that we can buy into a franchise, so that we can grow financially and in a better place. Because the number one thing, remember this, the number one reason why most couples split up nowadays is for financial reasons. It's the reason why the divorce rate is very high. Other reasons as well, people cheat and people are crazy and they do stupid things. But the old saying, no romance without the finance. And I'm not talking about fancy cars and jewelry and all that other crap that don't mean nothing after you buying it. I'm talking about having it in the bank. I'm talking about having it in the business, having it in places where it can grow. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So it's just something to think about, because I guarantee if you insert these topics into your weekly conversation, you're going to be able to grow your family in a better and efficient way, Something to think about, because I don't know about you. When I get my 50s and 60s, I'm not trying to work 40 hours a week. The most I might want to work 15 to 20, if that. And, if my money's in assets, not liabilities more, because people can become a liability. And if you're with somebody and they're not pulling their fair share, and they're not trying to help grow and mold with you in different areas, not just financial, but let financial be the number one. I'm going to say it. Let it be number one. And then you can grow other ways, spiritually, physically, et cetera, and so forth. If you have somebody like that in your life, then I just call them the financial tick, because all they're doing is sucking you dry. Whether it's friends, family, significant others, you got to be able to grow as a cohesive force, because once you do that, nobody can screw with you and nobody can screw with your bond, unless you're just a straight up douchebag and you like to cheat and do all this other nonsense. So food for thought, nutrition for the whole brain. Hopefully you guys like the video. Please share, please subscribe if you haven't, and those that have, thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. All right, enjoy.